Hi YouTube, how you all going? Just got another silver video for you guys today, but today's video is a little bit different because it's a user request. I had one of my subscribers ask me to do a video on silver in Australian dollars. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you silver in US dollars, silver in euros, and also silver in Aussie dollars as well. Now, just switching back to the US dollar for a second, there's not too much more to add. Obviously, I've spoken at length about this uptrend that had been in place for a fair amount of time. We've broken out of that. Had a couple of large, very large down days. We basically, the most significant action recently has been this large move down that came all the way to the $26 level before closing back up in the 30s. Since then, we've just bobbed around $30, $31, occasionally dipping a little bit lower. Now, I've just added in this line here as well, just because it does pick up this previous low back here in late January. So it seems like this move down was to test that. At the moment, I'd certainly say that silver in US dollars is going to stay between this $26 range and about $31. Occasionally, it looks like it's happy to go up and test these previous lows. If we continue to see a sell-off in, I guess, just everything across the board except for US treasuries, I would expect silver to drift to drift lower over the next couple of sessions, but as I've previously mentioned, what we really want to see is less volatility. Give silver and gold a chance to find its feet, and then we can kind of look to see if it's going to take off in another uptrend or if it's just going to hang around and consolidate for a lot longer. So that's it in US dollars. Switching to the euro, there's not a whole heap more to report. I mean, I know, currency differences do come into play, and, although the actual price is different, silver in euros is, way back down in the low 20s. You can still see the exact same pattern as we saw on the US chart. We've had this parabolic move, a sharp pullback. We hung around, in this kind of range for a bit, which in euros is between, say, $23 and about 27. We ducked out, but kind of found our feet and continued in this channel before, obviously, the massive sell down over the last couple of weeks, where silver in euros has basically came all the way down from $29 all the way to just about $19.50, testing again a previous low back in January. So again, when you look at charts, you can kind of see these things. The traders out there, investors, all the different players in the markets, they just, for whatever reason, they want to test and see if that's going to hold, and luckily it did. Otherwise, it would have fallen further than that. So for the time being, again, it's pretty much going to be range bound in euros. As per what I said with the US dollar chart, if we continue to see a sell-off or don't get any significant news, you'd probably expect it to drift lower. I wouldn't rule out it retesting this level over time, but what we want to see again is a more sustainable move. If we're going to test this level, I certainly think it'll be in smaller increments down. If we can move 0.5%, 1% each day down, rather than dropping 5-10% in a day, it could then support us to basically be range bound between, say, $19.50 and $24. Once it finds its feet, we can then start to comment about uptrends, downtrends, and all that kind of stuff. And now for the silver chart in Aussie dollars. So thanks for all you guys in Australia for hanging around until the end to see this one. Basically what we're seeing is the same type of pattern, an established uptrend that was recently broken by these large falls. And just before I kind of get into my comments a little bit more, the interesting thing with silver in Aussie dollars, of course, is that the Aussie dollar itself has actually been trading at or close to parity or even above parity for quite some time, throughout 2011. So in a lot of instances, the moves when quoted in US dollars have pretty much been matched one for one when you then pull up a chart in in Aussie dollars when looking at silver. So of course, there was no escaping the falls. We did come down and test this previous low that we saw back in January, and we're now effectively range bound between $32 and about 27, or the high 26 odd dollar mark. Now, as I've mentioned before, we do just need to wait until we can kind of find our feet. But I thought I'd take this opportunity when looking at the Aussie chart just to say that there is some news coming up that can certainly help gold and silver from a long-term investor's point of view. Now, the Euro zone, as we all know, is facing a lot of troubles. They basically need to bail out Greece, or there could be systemic risk and systemic bank failures and all kinds of things going on right throughout the Eurozone. If Greece falls over, people all of a sudden will turn their attention to Italy, Spain, Portugal, you name it. Very much like the global financial crisis that we saw, where Lehman Brothers fell, and then as soon as they were knocked off their perch, everyone said, well, who's next? Who are we going to start shorting? Where have we got to take our money out of, and all that kind of thing. So we're basically at a crossroads, but the reason why I think it can actually help gold and silver is because the Eurozone is talking about, this financial stability fund that they're perhaps going to leverage to give themselves even more firepower to combat the problem. Now, if you're a central bank, or a central bank for a entire block of countries, effectively, to leverage that, you're actually printing money, or lending money that didn't exist to yourself. So as you guys have seen in America, whenever there's been whenever the printing presses has been cranking up, more money in the system obviously means a devaluing of the euros or the dollars that are essentially out there, and as a result, investors who are looking to preserve their wealth or even to grow it in these times are gonna maybe start considering the precious metals again. So that's something to keep an eye out. Just over the next couple of weeks and months, if we see that, we can certainly kick off again in silver, just like we can in gold. But for the time being, I don't really, there's not really too many reasons to be buying in the low 30s. I mean, sure, if you if we break out of this, you might have to pay $34, or even higher. But I mean, the risk of buying now, it's not like you're going to miss out on anything great, because there should still be a chance to catch any move higher. But if there is a move to the downside, you're looking at a $5 basically margin down to this $27 level, and if things really get bad and we break that, well then the downside risk is significantly more than the upside risk of missing out buying at this point in time. So for all you guys looking at buying silver in Australia, just keep your powder dry for the time being. Wait and see what happens. We are range bound. And look, I just want to say again, thank you to the subscriber who wanted this video done. I hope I've provided a little bit more commentary for you in regards to that. If there's any significant changes in, I guess, the currency, in the Aussie dollar versus the US dollar, we could start to see some more wilder moves in the silver market, and I'll certainly keep you updated if that's the case. But as always, guys, please rate, comment, and subscribe. And look, I'd really love to see some more comments on where you guys think silver's going, what you're doing out there, what you're seeing in the market, because it's all very interesting. Thanks a lot.